I welcome you to my class at the Grand Teton. I call you to be my students. It is a pragmatic reason. God has need of you. The world has need of you. I would make you experts in going forth out of the body during sleep to perform works of valor and service. You may find yourself serving with the Chohans of the rays, then graduating to be among the legions of one or more of the 7 archangels. Blessed ones, those of you who are in embodiment and moving toward your ascension can do much good, for you may teach souls in their finer bodies who have misconceptions concerning the true divine doctrine and the true divine science. They may receive this teaching from you as brother or sister in the corridors of the Royal Teton Retreat, after the classes which are taught by the Chohans or even by the messengers. Thus, beloved, you may comfort and console, share mighty truths that will filter through when the soul returns to the body, and assist that soul in overcoming the prejudices of the intellectual mind. The members of the Great White Brotherhood are working together to find many ways and means that are at our disposal to contact the souls who are receptive, who could be receptive, who can be brought into the path. May you pray fervently for these souls while you are in the physical body, and may you work earnestly with them when out of the body. There is a certain adeptship and a certain self-mastery that must be gained in this course, and I am the teacher assigned by the Darjeeling, Indian, and Royal Teton Councils of the Great White Brotherhood to perform this service. I have had a great deal of success with souls who have applied themselves earnestly, and you would be amazed, beloved, how the services that you can then perform can increase your opportunity to balance karma. Thus, 24 hours a day, you may be balancing karma by rendering service to life. I have the attainment from Atlantis of being a scientist, beloved, and I have employed the methods of precipitation for 10,000 years and more. I seek to show you how to bring into manifestation the light from realms above. I seek to show you many things whereby you may organize yourselves better, make better use of time and energy, and have greater access to the consciousness of your I Am presence. I come with my twin flame in this hour, beloved, for we work together in this service. We have worked with the students of the I Am when Godfrey and Lotus were serving this nation. We continue to work with all students who will diligently invoke the violet flame. It is a prerequisite, beloved, for that flame does clear you on a daily basis of those things that otherwise would prevent you from entering certain chambers of the Royal Teton Retreat. Those who do use the violet flame accelerate in their studies more quickly and advance, whereas those who do not have knowledge of it or do not use it are found in lower grades of classes, for they have not yet purified themselves. Many consider themselves a part of the new age, yet they have not truly accepted Saint Germain and Portia, the twin flames who are hierarchs of this age. And therefore, though they are advanced in their thoughts and their perceptions, they have not advanced themselves in the purification of the auric field. We can enter the aura of those whose auras are purified, and by making ourselves one with you, may multiply your works and your activities. You can come into congruency with the aura of an ascended master long before you have the full God mastery of your soul. Thus, beloved, The violet flame is a gift of God for many purposes, and one of these purposes is that it establishes a point of transition between the place you are now and the place you desire to be, which is the next level or gradation of the vibration of light. Thus, when your violet flame goes before you and precedes your coming to our retreat, we are always aware of it. You can be 1,000 miles away or around the side of the earth, yet, beloved, when your aura of violet flame precedes you, angels are alert, elementals gather to welcome that soul who does bring the most valuable gift of all that can then be shared with those life streams who come also of goodwill but are not connected to any teaching concerning the violet flame. When you desire to step up the steps in the spiral staircase leading you home to the heart of your Holy Christ self in the antechamber of your heart, then, beloved, you understand how important it is, for the violet flame takes you there, cleanses you and prepares you. The violet flame in your aura is seen by many souls who come to the retreat, and they desire it. Some of those in the outer octaves who have looked upon the aura of the messenger with their psychic senses have been astounded at the tremendous manifestation of the violet flame. But those who have not been servants of the light, many of whom come out of the east, have not been converted to get that violet flame for themselves, and in their hardened intellects and their spiritual pride, they have questioned the necessity for decrees, for they have not received that science of decreeing from the Divine Mother, although they profess to worship that Mother and do indeed recite her mantras. Blessed ones, almost every segment of society and those of every religious conviction or none have some impediment or block to the essential elements of this path. We therefore determine, and I have been called to give you this message this night, that we desire to show you how to be the example and the manifestation of the light, whereby seeing is believing. And those souls who have rejected the techniques and the path and even the doctrine of the ascended masters may finally come to their senses and recognize that what is, what is true, and what they see clearly must be the results of right effort and a right science and a right religion applied. Therefore, beloved, there is no greater teacher than the very best example, and we desire you to be that very best example. At the level of the soul, all souls on the planet read the aura of one another. But this is not brought to the attention of the outer awareness. The emphasis upon intellectual development to the disregard and neglect of the soul and the heart and the spiritual senses surely has brought the pall upon civilization that you see in the very streets of this city and throughout the world. These things need not be, beloved, and while there is time and yet opportunity, I, Leto, make myself available to you. I have appeared to the messenger in recent months with my commitment to come when she calls. So I make that commitment to all of you. As long as you submit your call to the will of God, as long as you remember that when you invoke a guru, whether an ascended master or an ascended lady master, you must be ready to take the answer to your call as God gives it through us. You must be waiting for that answer and know that the will of God is good and good for you and will lead you into all prosperity and righteousness. Thus, when you think your prayers are not answered, be still and know that I, Leto, have heard and have answered, and the call has compelled the answer, but you have not been willing to recognize the answer as it has come to you because you expected an entirely different answer to come to your life. Blessed ones, you have all played with blocks and built many types of buildings with your blocks, as you were children playing on the floor. One thing you learned, and that is that one block goes on top of the next, and unless all are in place, you cannot build your towers. Therefore, each step of the path must be seen as one of the building blocks. Lay the foundation of your pyramid well, and know that that foundation must be solid if the superstructure is to endure and not crumble or topple. Therefore, the answer to prayer always gives you the next step, the key to the next block that must be put in position in your life. Were we to answer your ultimate prayer before the foundation is laid, you would come to naught, and you would discover that it was an unwise gift, and then perhaps in your anger would demand of us as to why we should give you something when you are not ready to receive it. Therefore, search your souls to understand why things do not come into your life that you think ought to be there. And look at first things first, and seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, the right use of his law, and all these other things will be added unto you. See that there are not missing links in your perception, or in your actions, or your deeds, or your education, or your work, or your service. It is wise to take the 3 flaws that you can identify in yourself that are most serious and work on them, and discover what blessings and light may come to you if you will give up certain habits and conditions which you may have long thought were harmless, but are not harmless at all, and may be the very key to your understanding of what is preventing you from attaining greater spiritual progress. I am practical, I am pragmatic, and you will see that those qualities of mine are reflected in your messenger when you seek lofty answers and yet receive the most down-to-earth and proper correction or message. Understand that I am not the only practical one in the universe. God is practical. Alpha and Omega are very much practical, and that means also down to earth. Someone queried the messenger, "How can Mother Mary know about your new book?" And this individual was even raised in Catholicism. "Why," the messenger exclaimed, "of course Mother Mary knows about my new book. She knows everything, everything in the whole wide world." This is the childlike understanding that God is in every ascended master and saint and holy one, and the omniscience of the mind of God is there. And therefore, Mother Mary already knows all of the problems and burdens of that individual who has wondered how Mother Mary could comment on a book by the messenger. We are holy God-identified beings, beloved, certainly not discarnates, certainly not spirits that mutter and peep. We are in the mind of God. We are in that mind fully and totally, and can access any information about anyone anywhere in cosmos. This is our service. This is the necessity of being among the immortals. Therefore, you can count on us to bring to your projects, when you include us as a part of your Mastermind Alliance, the most specific information that you need in order to complete the project at hand that you are working on, whatever type of project it may be, so long as it is consistent with the laws of God and with the will of the cosmic Christ. We are there to help you increase in all ways. Therefore, let all the ingredients be there. When you as children were allowed to bake and cook and learn from your mothers and in school, did you not find out, if you left out the leaven, the baking powder, that the cake would not rise, or the yeast, and then the dough would not be leavened? Did you not understand that improper measuring and incorrect ingredients would not bring about the prize at the bake show? Blessed ones, the same is true with spiritual alchemy. These things are not so metaphysical. They are very much involved. Even as you have chemical elements in this octave, so there are counterparts. And the science of a cosmos is vast. As you contemplate the slides of the focuses of high spiritual places on the planet, do you not see the alchemy that has gone into the formation of the mountains, of the lakes, of the earth itself, and the crust of the earth and the interior? Elohim did create by the exact science of matter to bring about this form that is called planet Earth for your habitation and home. Truly you are fearfully and wonderfully made, as science discovers the elements that make up the body, and those things that bring about healing and those things that bring about disease. Is it not a study at microscopic levels? Is it not a study of chemistry? All these things Elohim have planned that you might have physical vehicles to move in the physical octave. If there is such precision in the handiwork of God, then I tell you there must be exact precision in your own handiwork. Do not depart from the sense of science when you enter the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm is all science, the science that embraces the cosmos, both in the mathematics and in the principles of physics. So realize, beloved, that precipitation is based upon exactness. Exactitude is the call of the hour, the sharpening of the mind. You can have all things from God, from the great central sun, if you will crack the formula. You will never crack it without love and without forgiveness and without the joy of the Lord in doing a service that will render benefits to life rather than glory to your human ego. You can rest assured that when you serve to set life free, truly, beloved, then God will give you many means to accomplish that end. You have heard that Saint Germain has cut off the dispensation of further scientific releases to this planet until the people will cease using them to create war and the engines of war, and to sell or smuggle or give away those secrets to an enemy that is vowed to destroy this nation under God. Thus, beloved, there is coming upon this earth a time when there shall not be so great an abundance of invention, for the very fact that invention by the science of God through Saint Germain must be entrusted to those servant sons and daughters who will see to it that such things are not used for destructive purposes, destructive to human life and to the mind and the soul and the heart. Consider the field of genetic engineering, beloved. It went wild and rampant on Atlantis. Thus Atlantis was destroyed for this very process of genetically engineering crossbreeds between human and animal life. These things are happening today as scientists in their laboratories are again finding ways and means to create the so-called perfect human or animal robot to do their bidding. Blessed hearts, there is a crossing of the line where God says, "Thus far and no farther. It has happened before, it will happen again. And therefore let me bring fruits from among you and all servants of the light who hear my dictation, fruits to the karmic board that show a diligent effort to apply the laws of God and science and the true doctrine of God, to projects and to those things that will bring about healing and the betterment of the race. Thus let it be, beloved. May you pray diligently no matter what your field of service, for the opposition to the truth, to the true knowledge of healing, to the true knowledge of diet, to the true use of genetics, etc., is denied. And when those forces are challenged by the light bearer who decrees for the true healing methods to come forth, I tell you all of hell breaks loose. And the attack upon that individual who will raise his head to challenge material science, I tell you, it has been ferocious, and many individuals have been persecuted unto martyrdom because of their efforts to bring about the freedom of the people from those diseases that are rampant and yet for which cures have already been discovered and are being withheld. This is why it is important to meet in your groups, to exercise the power of the judgment of the Son of God and of the ruby ray angels and of Mother Mary, the judgment of those who hold their iron grip over the field of health and healing and wholeness and many other branches of science, beloved. And therefore do not allow those inventions to come forth for the saving of energy, for the dispersing of the pollution of the planet. All of the inventions of Atlantis, beloved, are the inheritance of the people of this nation, for the United States of America is Atlantis come again, and yet we cannot continue to accelerate their release for the abuses of those sciences in man's inhumanity to man. Take the matter of the pollution of the environment and the pollution of your lungs and of your hearts and even of your souls. These problems can be solved, and yet the desire to guarantee sane and healthful life to the people is not the priority of the powers that be or of the fallen angels, who are concerned about their own well-being but not concerned about the masses of the people in whom there is truly the flame of God. Therefore, beloved, I come to you, and I have the sternness in my heart in this hour, even the fierceness of the great Mother Kali out of the east. And that fierceness should tell you that I am here to defend you against all enemies of your life, your liberty, your happiness, your freedom of religion, your freedom of speech, and your freedom to exercise that science which can bring about a universal spirit of harmony and actually usher in, when joined to true religion, the age of Aquarius as a golden age instead of as a dark age. I ask you to understand as never before that each one of you is an instrument in the process of turning this world around and bringing in that golden age. Comparatively few individuals upon this planet will accept and hear the words spoken through this messenger. Yet all those who have heard, and some who have departed after hearing and not returned, hold promise to be links in the chain of being, whereby that burden of the karma delivered by the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse can be transmuted and those momentums turned around. Blessed ones, you are a key, you are an absolute key to that balancing of the light upon earth, to increasing the light where the light swallows up the darkness itself. Do not think that you are no one, that you are worthless, that you are a miserable sinner. Do not think that you do not count. Every decree that you utter is taken up by angels and multiplied by the power of the 10,000 times 10,000, so that you can act for 1,000,000 life streams upon the planet each time you make your calls. This is reality, beloved. This is divine reality, and this is physical reality, and it can happen. A few saints in past ages have made the difference, and you can make the difference. The only problem is you do not consider yourself worthy of sainthood. I say you are fully worthy because God is in you. And when you deprecate yourselves, and when you are disparaging concerning yourself and feeling worthless, you are denying the God that is in you. And I say shame on you for taking that posture. For God has given to you a great grace and a great ability, and therefore let gratitude and praise abound. And may you take this science of the word as an empowerment, truly the empowerment as great as that of any adept that might come to you from the eastern chambers. This very science of the word itself, that is yours by the gift of Saint Germain, is an initiation directly and personally to you by the hierarch of the age of Aquarius. You should appreciate what it means to have Saint Germain sponsor an entire life wave to receive the violet flame. It is indeed a cosmic initiation. It must not be taken for granted. It is the elixir of life. It is the universal solvent. It is the key to your victory. I, Leto, have spoken to you. May my alertness and my presence among you make you realize that I am with you always and very much concerned for all to be fulfilled in your life, especially those things that are on your hearts in this moment. My beloved, I bring greetings to you from many souls of light who are your brothers and sisters, evolutions of Venus and Mercury and beyond this system, who are gathering at the Royal Teton Retreat because they expect to meet you there. Will you take then the ashram rituals and take the notes from Moria's heart, pursue them and see how quickly you can develop the facility of this work out of the body at night and this soul travel. Think of how freely it is given, beloved. You have not had to enter in to a long trek to the Himalayas or an arduous journey fraught with danger in order to meet the Master. The Master has come to you. Now you may become the master, and you may come to many others who need you, who need you, who need you in this hour, beloved. I am Leto, your teacher of light and your sister on the path. I too am a representative of the Divine Mother, and I bid you adieu.